come up with something new for the Saints, yo.
I wrote the song Sufficient back when I was 21 years old, a student at FAMU, a member of a community chorale called the Praise Company under the direction of my brother, Taryn Goldsboro, better known as TR. I was also a member of the FAMU Gospel Choir at the time, but I wrote the song Sufficient for the Praise Company. And when I tried to teach it to them, it wasn't working. I'm going to be honest with you. Although they sounded great, it just wasn't working as a chorale song. I thought it was better suited for a solo song. So I actually performed it myself a few months after I wrote it and pulled in some of my friends to help me sing the song. Alex Howard, Elena Washington, Angie Hammonds, Chuck Rhodes, Nikki Higgins. And we performed the song and it went over very well with the crowd, which gave me the idea and the motivation to record the song. So at the time, one of my coworkers, Buford, told me that he knew of a local producer by the name of Darius Doc D. Baker. So I went, met Doc D, and Doc was like, I want you to play me a few of your songs and we're going to choose the one that's the best song to be a single. So I played him 3 songs and he chose song number 2, which was Sufficient. So a couple of weeks later, he brought in some of his players. They laid down a banging track and me and Nikki and Angie went back to lay down the background vocals. And then I did a rough vocal for the lead. And Doc decided to keep 90% of my rough vocal for the lead. I put his finishing touches on it. And then guess what? We had a hit. So once the song Sufficient was recorded, my next goal was to get it on radio. I had no idea how I was going to get Sufficient on the radio. And then it just so happened that one of my good friends from my hometown by the name of Shayla McLeod let me know that she was the gospel radio DJ at 90.5, which is FAMU's radio station. And so my friend Shayla actually put my song Sufficient on rotation on Sunday mornings at 90.5. And it played every Sunday, and it was on regular rotation, even to the point to where they started to play it outside of just Sunday mornings. And so I had people that knew my voice calling me saying, somebody on the radio sounds just like you. And I'm like, no, that's me. So Sufficient ran on the radio for about a year and a half under Shayla's leadership at the radio station. And then she graduated, which means that she was no longer the radio DJ. I didn't know what I was going to do then. I'm like, well, I guess that's it for my song. But then it just so happened that another friend of mine, who was also a member of the choir that I sang in, the Family Gospel Choir, was also a gospel DJ. And she kept my song on rotation and even added it to other days. So my song was played for a period of 3 consecutive years, from 2003 to 2006. And at the time, that was unheard of for a local independent artist to be on regular rotation, in Tallahassee, Florida. But my song ran for 3 consecutive years and it picked up a lot of momentum. And one of the highlights for me around that time was the fact that my mother and my grandmother came to town on a visit, and on their way back out of town, when they got in the car, guess what song was on the radio? Sufficient. So it was a highlight for me. It picked up a whole lot of momentum and gave me a lot of opportunities. People began to ask me how they could access the song. And so at the time, the song was not available physically. This was in the day of CDs. I did not burn any CDs of the song. It was only available if you heard it on the radio. But I did make a couple of CDs and just pass it around to a few friends. One of my friends by the name of Al Seeley told me that he wanted to forward the song to a cousin because she had some connections in the industry. And so a few weeks later, or maybe a few months later, I got a call from a guy in Atlanta who was a record exec and wanted to bring me to Atlanta to perform at a showcase because he thought the song had a lot of potential. I was a little weary about going to Atlanta at the time to perform the song because I wasn't sure if I really wanted to pursue a career in music. I literally had just graduated from FAMU the year prior, and it was a struggle for me getting to the point of graduation. So I really wanted to decide if I wanted to pursue music or pursue my career that I went to school for. But I remember one of my good friends at the time, Courtney Wallace, was like, no, you're going to Atlanta and you're going to do this showcase and we're going to see what happens. So he was like, I'm going to take you to Atlanta to make sure that you go. So we rode to Atlanta, went on a Friday night, stayed overnight with a few friends that he knew. I didn't even know these people, but I stayed. And the next morning, I'm still talking myself out of it up until 30 minutes before the event. And I was like, I'm not going. I just don't feel it. And I didn't go. And so as a result, I do not know what would have happened, what could have happened. The coordinator of the event was upset with me because he's like, I invested in, I even, paid your entry into this event so that you could do it. And like, you don't know, you're selling yourself short. But I decided not to do it. So once I came back from Atlanta, decided not to pursue that opportunity that Sufficient brought me, I was content with just being a teacher. So I came back to Tallahassee and pursued just my career in teaching. Really wasn't doing a lot in music. By 2007, Sufficient kind of faded away from being played on regular rotation. But what never stopped was people asking me about the song, how they could get the song. And for some reason, I still never burnt any CDs, never passed out CDs, never sold CDs. Sufficient was just a memory for a lot of people. But through the years, people always, even to this day, ask me about Sufficient.
And every morning when he wakes me up from sleep, there's a brand new sunshine, new mercies I see. God's grace is sufficient for me. His strength is made perfect in weakness. God's grace is sufficient for me. His strength is made perfect in weakness. God's grace is sufficient for me.
And I realized that when the song was released before the day of digital streaming. So at the end of 2025, I had an idea, which was to re-release Sufficient, remastered, but this time available on all digital platforms. So the song is still a good song, and I think that although the song was originally written in 2003, in 2026, it's still relevant because God's grace is still sufficient. So I encourage you all to go and download the song and let me know what you think.